Love and light collective. Much love and light to you all. Um, Back at it with another Pick a Pal live stream, you guys. Sorry, I'm like, why is my nose? Um, but before we get into that, again, pulled overarching energies really quick for the collective. So it doesn't matter if you resonate with pal number 1 or 2 tonight. And the collective overall have 3 cards: optimism, patience, and permission. All right. So this is what Spirit really, I guess, wants to talk with you about here really quick for such a time as this. And you guys, these messages are timeless unless stated otherwise on this channel. Can't speak for everyone's channel, but so, you know, I understand I'm filming this in the month of May in the year 2026. But the situation is, whenever you find this message, okay, it may resonate. If it does, it's a what you consider a timely message. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. I appreciate you guys giving the channel message a chance. I appreciate those that actually come in and click the like and, you know, contribute with your conversation, your energy, right? There's no soapbox here. There's no microphone for a reason, because it's not about your girl. All right. It's about what we all do here. And of course, as Spirit leads, right? The Holy Spirit, to be clear, right? So there's that. And pal number 1, your marker tonight, your icon here to assist the collective members with even trying to begin to understand without hearing the message, whether or not they're going to resonate with it. Okay. I do want to be clear from one pal to the next. This session, can't say it always, right? But for this session, very different. Okay. But at the same time, I do need to be mindful. Spirit's like, but, yeah. Okay. Long story short, at the end of pulling for pal number 2, things swung around back to pal number 1. So there could be a high likelihood that your energy, if you're connected to this collective, for this particular session tonight, you guys, your energy could be in both piles, though they are not the same dynamic, story, situation, situationship, relationship. Okay. And I think that's pretty fascinating. I'm excited to get into it, you guys. So pile number 1, you have that room at the top, and it says, I recognize life isn't a competition, and there's plenty of room at the top. When I see someone crushing it, I've got no reason to be jealous or worried. Instead, I cheer them on like a face-painted soccer mom, and quite possibly use their picture on my very detailed stalker-adjacent vision board. So we're going to get into that, you know, deeper in a few moments, right? But pile number 2, your marker here, Love and Light Grace, Luna, is this rebellion card. And I need to tell you, whom all ever, I mean, I'm not calling you out, but like, I feel like this is Doubtfire, right? Where it's like that line where the character says, I'm not the therapist, I just say what I see, right? Like, the energy is damn sure giving that of a rebel, right? Nothing bad, no stigma. Love and Light Country, or no stigma or shame needs to be attached to the idea or essence, dare I say aura, of that of a rebel, right? Because, you know, variety is the spice of life, they say. So not calling you out, but there were some synchronicities in just tapping into the energy, and I, you know, energetically was very deep into the persona of that of a rebel, you know, just, oh, you know, now, like, we're not, so I'm excited to get into that energy. It's a little, part of the reason why I'm saying some of this is because it's a little different. Interestingly enough, I don't know if all readers experience this. It's not even like all readers are necessarily content creators or on, like, you know, media. But I would like to know for those readers out there, because I do understand that you know, there are some in the collective. It's different. Like, I will go into this meditative session. It's like, okay, like bing, bam, boom. I'm getting clarification. I'm getting confirmation, right? So it's not that I'm like thinking, oh, I'm, you know, not connecting. But something about coming on here, things can get a little different. It's the same freaking cards. It's just the energy. It's not that it changes. It just gets a little different. I can see a little differently or feel a little differently. So For anyone wondering, that might be why you hear me say some of the things like, oh, I'm excited to get into it, as if I don't know, because I don't know everything. I never claim to be omniscient, to be clear, right? It's not by design that any one of us should be here in this realm omniscient. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me, okay? Especially if you're talking about creating balance. So there's that. But that's what I have for the piles from one to the next. And again, you guys, tonight, two totally different dynamics, stories, situations, situationships, all right? Before we get there and before I ring the bell for the freebies for the first time for tonight's session, you guys, I pulled for every one of us, okay? And again, 3 cards came out: optimism, patience, and permission. And, really, Spirit just wants you to know that you do have something to look forward to. I guess I could apologize and say sorry if you don't know what that is, right? But at the same time, should I? Because do you have to know to claim it? Firstly, do your part. Okay, so continue to think about things and maybe differently. There's some aspect of like, well, just like I was mentioning a few seconds ago with the cards. I know what the cards are now, right? But moments later, there's some change or some deepening in clarity, etc., right? So don't restrict yourselves into thinking you know everything, right? And don't restrict yourselves into just simply what you do know. And there's a little difference there in that, because some of us are well-meaning. It's like, okay, I understand I have these resources available to me, and you hyper focus on what you know, and sometimes that can get in the way of actually manifesting beyond your current resources, regardless of what the resource is, whether it's money, whether it's, access to, shelter, or, whatever, right? Don't restrict yourselves. And another thing that would assist you with freeing yourselves is you got to be optimistic, right? Because if not, you're fighting yourselves, and at that point you're just joining the op team, right? Like, do they need assistance, right? Because I feel like not in that way, and you damn sure don't need to experience any more than you're already, maybe going through or have fought your way out of already, right? That's kind of hinting at that rebellion energy we just talked about. And of course, have patience. We're going to be still talking about divine timing. I get it. But the thing is, sometimes things like manifestations take longer for our safety, for our sanity, for our life of ease. You hear in the spiritual community all the time about your soft era coming to you. You need to allow for it, though. A soft era doesn't really hit by you like strong arming the situation and beating your chest and running around and trying to make shit work and cramming square pegs into round holes and vice versa. How would any of that be soft? First of all, the moment that you started to try to strong arm and reach out to do some of that, or energetically even, right? That's already not soft. So if that's the foundation, right, it's like it's not a match. It's not a vibrational match. So you have to think about, am my words, my actions matching to what I want? They might be matching, right? But is it making sense? Ooh, right? Like, because sometimes you have some things about you, your personality, your lifestyle, your activities, or your morals, or fill in the blank there, right? Sometimes it can happen, and you look and you go, oh yeah, my actions match that, yeah, my lifestyle matches that, my words match that. But you have to take it a step further and say, but is it helpful or is it hurting? Right? And a lot of people, they're not necessarily willing to think towards that last kind of step there to get to the prize at doing what we call this thing, uh, basically shadow work. Not life, but shadow work. I was going to say life. I'm like, no, don't say it that way. But, all right. And there is some fruit to be born out of shadow work. What I mean by that is like, eventually, you could have eyes on you that go, well, how did they have a overnight success, right? Of course, there's no such thing as an overnight success, unless a manufactured one. And even then, is it giving success if it's manufactured, right? Okay. So in the natural course of things, right, there's no such thing as overnight success. Yes, there is such a thing as going viral overnight. I'll give you that, right? but there's steps leading up to it. There's dreams leading up to it. There's discipline leading up. I promise you. Okay. Um, so again, patience. Okay. And if you're feeling slow at things, you got to check. Is that you freaking out? Is that something being projected towards you so you freak out and give up kind of thing? A lot going on in those spiritual streets as well as communities of all kinds, right? So just saying, you guys, love and light, Hannah, and give yourselves permission. Permission for me personally has been like a really big deal. Like it's really a key that unlocks some aspects of peace, some aspects of grace, right? As well as gratitude. You know, when you can take charge, even energetically or emotionally, right? When you can take charge of your thought life and coach yourself into, again, that optimistic outlook. And, you know, maybe there is some sort of aspect of rebellion that does actually lay part of that foundation and is required. It's like this rebellion energy, I can't get around it. I know it's pound number 2 and we're not there yet, but I'm channeling hello, right? So this rebellion energy is definitely damn sure connected to inner child energy, and not in the sense of, oh, inner child needs correcting. No, inner child is allowed to flourish with whomever. This person's energy is just so strong, I cannot get around it. I don't know. So we'll get there. We'll get there. I have to slow myself down. Maybe there's some synchronicity to that because I was just talking about us in the collective, perhaps, you know, there's resonating with feeling like they're a little too slow. Sometimes, you guys, when you are at this level of ascension, you know how they always talk about, like in the spiritual community or even in the religious community, new levels, new devils, right? But really, the long and short of that, most often, not always, most often really is just getting acclimated. Like, could you imagine if all of a sudden we were catapulted into a certain altitude, of a certain height that we had just never experienced before? And it's one thing to climb that mountain to get to that type of air and be like at the top. But imagine if you put forth no effort, right? And we're just sitting here like blah, 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 YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you're just in that altitude. I think it would be a shock to the system because you didn't even gradually get there. Does that make sense? So again, when you're feeling like shit's not coming in correct or fast enough, right? There is a level of protection in that. And I have to say, like, it could be different types of protection because this is a general collective message. But man, that message hits. Like I probably will watch this again because yeah, that makes sense. I mean, could you imagine? Our lungs might actually hurt. I don't really know what all would happen, but, and you know, another thing that now I'm now thinking of too as an example of that is like scuba diving. You know, even some of the most experienced divers have had issues where it's like, fuck, I came up from the bottom a little too fast. Like I knew I was pushing it. Or sometimes, like, you know, there's instances where it's like, okay, there's only but so much air in the tank. You better get your ass up out of that water and you have to press your luck kind of thing. And bad things can happen. Very painful things, life altering things can happen, you know? So at some point you have to realize that you have a choice in the matter to give yourself permission to believe that the divine actually backs you. Does that make sense? To believe that there is some measure of protection there for you. All right. To believe that it's not always going to be, you know, what you've already always known. Okay. Because many of us, all we, you know, it's given all my life I've had to fight, you know. Love and light, you guys. I got to catch up on the box. Bear with, but I'm channeling and I don't want to half-ass it. Okay. Because I love you guys. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not ignoring you and I'll get there. Okay. I appreciate you guys coming in, hitting the like, and showing love like you do. But yeah, this is the message for you all, you guys, even though it's just coming in. Okay, give yourselves permission. I'm also getting to feel, right? There's a lot of things going on in the consciousness, in the I don't want to say too much, but I'll say it this way. I'm just noticing that there's a lot of similarities from one person to the next that I don't even necessarily know personally, but at the same time resonate with, that are going through almost scarily similar experiences in the right now, right? And so I'm taking notes because it can't be just me, it can't be just the three other individuals, you know what I mean? Like, it's giving spirit showing me, hey, we're not going through much of anything that anyone's going through alone right now, and you can fill in some of the most horrific things in there, and I'm not unmindful of that as well. And much love and light to you, and please know I am doing my part in the ways that I know how to, putting my best foot forward energetically, spiritually, emotionally, etc., to assist you in the ways that I can, right? And I appreciate you guys not giving up and doing your part regardless of what you're facing or climbing out of, okay? Because you are making it. It's almost like there's just some disgruntled energy slash disoriented energy, and it's because, if you were placed on um, the top of a rocket, perhaps, with no goggles, no fucking like helmet, right? And you're just through the clouds and the gas and the smoke and the rain and the, what would you see? Like, even if you like stayed alive, right? What would you be seeing? Because I feel like it'd be like the most horrific, scary, maybe even painful blur. I don't even know if at that point, strapped to a rocket, you'd want to see. You might still try to see, but would you want to see? Right? So I'm sorry, my nose is like throwing me off. There's something about seeing though coming through. So I'm just getting a download about you guys are on the verge. For who this resonates for, it might not be everybody in the collective, but there's somebody here, or there's a group, I'd like to say, doing the shadow work that I'm making mention of so often, right? That's why I keep mentioning it, because you're doing the damn thing. And you are on the verge of actually seeing how easy that's going to get for you. And it's funny, I was listening to somebody else earlier today, and they were talking about basically like, because this card is talking about, this patient's card is talking about vision boards and things. And I was already channeling about the soft era. You guys are going to start getting your manifestations with a lot greater ease. Those that are doing the work, and specifically shadow work. If you're saying, and I'm not trying to come for you, but if you're saying like, I don't even know what that is, this part of the message, though it's a collective message for all of us, right? This part though, it's just, I'm honing in on some specific energies, all right? I don't feel like it's one person. I'm getting the number 5 at least, okay? And what else am I supposed to say here? Hold on a second. Some of you are on the brink of actually making money doing what you love. Oof, I'm claiming that, right? And Spirit wants me to say this message is for, like, this aspect of the message is for those who resonate with having to move forward ahead with your vision, with your mission, with your, whatever you're creating, with your business plan, with your strategy, whatever, alone, basically, because, maybe you had supporters along the way, they never really stayed, they never really were true, kind of thing. There could be some significance to wine as well, I don't know why. But you are really getting ready, and especially if you've been building to ultimately have the outcome where you've got income doing what you enjoy, right? And it could be a multitude of things. I'm just saying, like, those things, the good things that make you, not want to lose your mind, kind of thing, or how you're going to be paying your bills. All right, so that's what I have for the general collective message for tonight, you guys. Where the hell is my bell? Oh, behind me. So we're ringing the bell. All right, let me catch up on the box, you guys. Whoo-wee, that was a lot. Okay. All right, so Love and Light again, Grace Luna, Country Love, Love and Light, of course, Love and Light, Michael Spears. I'm glad that you met your soulmate, babe. Love and Light, Raymond. Who else is in here? Let's see. Oh, thank you for joining, you guys. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you got confirmation, Country. Go ahead. I see you. Confirmation. I love confirmation. I will take confirmation over validation any day, right? Like some people, I don't know, it's interesting. Like I don't know. I would prefer a compliment over validation. It's like if somebody would even like try to validate me, I might question that. Like, why would you feel? Who told you I need? Like, if I need validation, God can do it. You know what I'm saying? And does. Like, but you know. Okay, so let me focus. So the first person I see in line, I do believe, is Raymond. Ooh, let's see. But first of all, happy birthday. And second of all, do we want the X? Do we want... Oh, I'm like fucking up the setup here. My bad. Oh, I'm like, please let me just reach it. Please. Okay, here we go. Okay, so, ooh, this is a good yes, Raymond, right? I don't like this being at the bottom of the deck, but I guess we don't have to look at it. I don't know, but this is your yes. Okay. Whew, that bottom, though. Anyway. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see if VH really wanted to accept your offer, babe. And then Love and Light, positive there. Okay, you made it through that night, though. Go ahead, positive bear. I see you. But you know what, Country? Because no, why? And so, like, gonna have to learn the lesson the hard way because it shoulda? Is this about lack of gratitude for a situation that somebody should have been grateful for? Is this about really not want to work with you when they should? That's what I'm getting. Ooh, judgment. Cut that. Ooh. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, Country. Shoot, if you don't know, now you know. Shoo. Wouldn't want to be residing in Karmicville nowadays, if ever. Just saying. Love and Light, Fiona. Ooh. Hey, Country, did your hair blow back too when all the synchronicities and confirmation? The whole wind, like... I think I saw a tumbleweed in the distance outside my window. Blowing the... Said, touch not my... Like, whoa. That's why I'm saying, like, look at the numbers, y'all. Like, we must be real special around these parts. I'm just saying, because the divine God, however you need to say it, universe is not playing. And message after message I've been hearing personally is like, oh, there's like a great divide or something going on as I say that. Shoo, just wheat sifting and shit. Okay, well, So, you know, just let the wind blow your hair when it gotta happen. And don't look back. You're very welcome. Thank you, because, you know, I needed that laugh. But, shoot, I get it. That was... Sometimes, you know... I've been questioning lately. I'm like, do the gifts actually come unearned, or are the gifts actually gifts? Like, because even now I'm thinking like, man, that's kind of fucked up that I was laughing and thanking you for the energy. But at the same time, really what we're talking about is like you had to sacrifice by going through a situation that was fucked up. But at the same time, well, hold on, and I feel like we're talking about this, and thank you for being on here, um, country, because it gives us an opportunity to talk and alchemize, right? Because at the same time, we know that we know that we know it can't not end well, right? In the sense of like, if you know you were a good person, well-meaning, and doing the damn thing, dominating your lane, it you know, and this, that, and the third, and this person just got something up their ass, or like, you know, whatever, right? And it just is not adding up. That's how you know. So, and when you go through experience or episode after episode of this shit, you just start learning to rejoice anyhow and amongst the chaos, right? And thank you for allowing us to talk about it by coming on here, country, and asking your question, because now we all get to talk about it or learn about it or how to do it, right? Like, you just keep going. And that's why I thank you guys all the time for not giving up, because really what I'm saying is, by not giving up, you are ultimately winning anyhow, right? Giving up, it's in the giving up, therein lies the loss. That's the only way. Yes, you can sacrifice. Yes, you can have losses. I get that. But you would never really be a loser. Does that make sense? Now, I can't say the same for everything else and everyone else. You know, like you can't, you know. If I could, I would. I'd be like, everybody always is, you know, I would. But lately the message is coming through. Basically, it's like, okay, stop trying to bless your enemies from the karma that they tried to put on to you. Like, make it so you can't overlove somebody to the point where you are not loving towards yourselves. And that's why it's really important, should that rope give a tug, to just let it go. Right? Well, let me see here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all of us being here, you know, learning and growing together. All right, let's see here. Positive Bear, speaking of learning, about passing this FOCP exam. Do you like that? Do you accept that? Yes. I feel like this one, you knew a lot more. Like, shouldn't you feel confident a lot more the way that you've been studying Positive Bear? Because, you know, don't get up in your head about it. If you know, right? So if you know that you know the material, don't second guess knowing the material. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But yes, and congratulations, okay? Okay, now let me see. I don't think I skipped over anyone. Yeah, we're good. Okay. All right, let's get into pound. I love you guys. Let's get into pound number one. Let me just hydrate, because this is like hydration / my meal, and it's really late for a meal, really. It had been so hot. Like, today wasn't too bad, but it had been so hot that I didn't even want to eat. I was like forcing certain shit in me just to make sure. Because, you know, when it gets hot like that, I can't. I always wondered, like, even when I used to drink alcohol, I used to wonder, how the hell do people do that in the heat? I'd just be stroked out like like a damn dead fish. Like, immediately just trying to, like, because you already sweating and it's already uncomfortable. You know, once you start spitzing, it's kind of downhill, so. But some people, you know, just saying. No judgment, but I'm like, damn, if the sun's blaring down and your skin trying to blister, probably don't want alcohol on top of it. That was just me, though, just saying. It's been cold, 53 degrees. You know what? I think starting tomorrow, we kind of cool down a little bit, but even then, it's like 60s, not 50s, which is cool with me, because I feel like 50s is a little too chill. That's weird. I've been here in California, has been kind of cool, too. And that's pretty interesting. And you guys, guess what? Um, I found out like last jujitsu class that one of my can you imagine? One of my teachers, for those that saw that picture and anyone that cares, it's the blonde one. I actually call her Tinkerbell sometimes because I'm like, she's all petite and everything and she's blonde, but she will kick ass, bro, like without hesitation. It's so funny. But anyways, she just came back from San Francisco, a visit that I had no idea about. I'm like, what are you, she's all tan, but she was talking about as well that it's been chilly over there. Long story short, we traced her steps and my kids' steps. I'm pretty sure they were on the same beach and the same day. And I was on, like, my kid thought enough to call me through video phone so I could go to the beach because, you know, mom loves the beach. I'm a fucking siren, right? just, I'll just own up to it right now. But, and that's freaking crazy. Like, that's like mind blowing. And then I was like, I had to work through that because I was like, because if I, you know, here's the way I think. I go, if I would have known that my teacher was going to go to San Francisco, I would have orchestrated a meetup. I would have told her, hug my kid, right? Because she's a mom too. I feel like she would get it, right? Especially if they're going to be so close, anyways, in location. And then when she came back, I was just like, because I miss my kid so much. And it's not that I don't like see or hear from her. It's just that I'm like, it's, I think the 360 says 2,470 miles away. I'm just like, and it's her birthday in, well, actually it's Saturday. So, um, yeah, so I really miss her. And like, it was just Mother's Day and everything. So, but anyhow, let me focus. Sorry. Okay, I didn't skip anyone. Thank you, Fiona. 110 degrees? Yeah. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, I would just melt. I would just melt, not gonna lie there. All right, you guys, let's get to, again, pile number one. Those are gonna resonate, those who are going to resonate with pile number one, here's the sitch, right? I'm not gonna read every card. I'm not gonna read every card, because here's why, all right? But I did my investigation, and I know what's going on, right? And I'm gonna share, don't worry. We already read this card about the room at the top. All right, this is somebody who roots for others. This is somebody who thinks that when other people are winning, they too win because they enjoy seeing the win. Toxic? No. So here's the card that kind of started the foundation rolling for this particular pile number one when I went into session, like prior to coming on the live stream. You are feeling somewhat confused by the events that are unfolding around you and the various seemingly contradictory information that's coming your way. Trust your instincts and do what they are telling you to do, and you will learn a lot about yourself and the direction you want your life to take. Now, you guys know I tell you all the time, we're here to learn and grow our soul. I also tell you that the divine uses things to get our attention that already have our attention. Often makes strategic sense to me, right? And the situation is that we are talking about a friend dynamic. This could be a relative. Like, I'm just saying it's not, like, this isn't like ex-lover vibes or paramour vibes, okay? And I'm not going to lie, the cards keep saying friend, but this is a general collective message. I don't want to box it in. I just want to be clear. It's not a romantic situation or romantic partner, okay? And long story short, the divine wants you to know what difficulties you're facing, what between you and this friend, or you know, however this dynamic makes sense, whether it's a relative, okay, is to assist you to know more about yourself. Okay, now again, we're here to learn and grow our soul. Take it back to source, right? Of course, we're connected to source, energy, life force. All right. Some say God, others may say universe, goddess. Okay, plug in what you need there to make it make sense for you, right? Your character is of that of the white feather, right? Heart as light of a feather, or excuse me, as light as a feather, right? You are undergoing heavy transformation, heavy glow up, okay? And this is producing some different light about you. You might say aura, but it's giving more than that. It's like, if the aura was next leveled, of course, yeah, but also the icing on the cake is like this super cosmic anointing, right? It's something that is felt and perhaps seen by some, but felt by most. And just because you feel something doesn't mean you can necessarily explain it, right? Hell, just because you taste something doesn't mean you can necessarily explain the taste. Same deal with smell and any of the senses. Makes sense? So you're kind of like, even if people do know you, you're not giving who used to be, or you're not giving the same vibratory frequency, right? Even though you may look the same, all right? Maybe you don't, though. With this glow up energy, it's giving, whoa, what happened to you? Somebody whipped you with a pretty stick or something? Like, how do you doing magic kind of thing? And maybe that's what they're talking, like, oh, you got surgery, you got that pill and everything, and you got, you know, bippity boppity. So crazy, right? Because really, you guys, long story short, when you do the work and you start healing and you start actually checking into your body and then like giving a fuck about yourself, right? It's gonna show on the outside. You can't help it, right? Especially if you're not half-assing the work, right? Again, there's a level of discipline there. Going back to what I was just speaking about a few moments ago with country, there's that sacrifice, that discipline energy. Other people may look, oh, 2 months ago you were just doing this, looking like this, dressing like this, and saying these things, and now this overnight. It's like, no, 2 months ago, right? So from that fucking point till then, I was doing these things and not saying these things and saying these others, and I was disciplining myself to keep going, and I was asking God and the angels for help to keep going, and I was determined to persevere, to keep, to get to that one fateful moment in time where it just seems like, oh, all of a sudden, right? Um, you have courage. You have courage to keep going in spite of the unknown and facing multiple unknowns. Many of us are multiple. You are the light, okay? Don't second guess your source code, I'm hearing to say. Don't know exactly what all that means. Maybe there is some significance to, isn't that a book? Source code. Don't second guess your anointing is another way to put that, I suppose. Yeah, this card says, I keep my fire lit and blaze through all my ish. All right, now there could be some significance to somebody, having that medicinal Mary Jane, right? And, if that's you, I'm not seeing any toxicity. This card says, so after a day of it, I can enjoy my evening sit. And that's making me think that, this is somebody that really just uses it maybe for sleep, or, just to actually like relax from the day, to unwind, to get to sleep kind of thing. And, this isn't a situation where it's like, my goodness, you can't even breathe without it kind of thing. And there's some significance to your smile. You've got a great smile. Spirit wants you to know, but also this could be something that, produces a little evil energy on you. Love and light, Sophie. Love and light, Laura. And this definitely is someone that, you consider to be a friend. There could be some significance to a farmer or fertilizer. Or elephants, doesn't have to be the case. And the situation could also be a workplace situation, because while pulling these cards and getting the understanding from them, as well as spirit, I was playing King of Queens in the background. I can't play it now, though, you guys. I would if I could. But, and there was a scene between, I'm trying, Doug and, what's his name? Deacon. His best friend, right? So this could be somebody that, you could have considered like a very good friend, a best friend, or like a very good, like cousin comes to mind, or, I don't know how the dynamic could be here. But so there could be some significance to the names Doug, like Douglas, or Deacon. It doesn't have to be the case. But the scene was about Doug getting a promotion, and Deacon was upset behind it because he felt that, maybe it was a race type of situation, or he just felt because, he knew that in his perspective, he had receipts about how basically, like, he's a better worker, like, and it was like no tea, no shade. It was just kind of like, here are the receipts, kind of thing. So maybe there is some sort of like competition. Maybe, with this glow up energy, it feels like, how somebody might feel on the other side of missing out on a promotion kind of thing. I don't know. It was just definitely a synchronicity. I don't think it was like to the letter and to the T of the situation on the show. But I was asked to make mention of that whenever I got to this part of the session. So there you go. And this person, whether guy, girl, what have you, was gossiping about you. And so, you guys know that's the real witchcraft, right? Speaking ill against anyone, whether they're a quote unquote chosen one or quote unquote earth angel or fill in the tag words or not, right? You never really know who you're speaking to, who you're speaking about, right? So also, why would you want to speak bad about somebody? When if somebody's doing so bad, if somebody's such a bad person, you almost should wish them well. You shouldn't add to the equation. It's interesting. But there could be some significance to somebody being a singer here. All right, with these microphones on the cards, you can see them in the upper corner. It does not have to be the case, because what they also represent apparently is someone trying to silence you. You maybe felt like you were in a cage. Tangled comes to mind. What is that though? Really, Rapunzel, right? Rapunzel energy. It's like trying to keep you stuck in a loop, perhaps, right? Maybe to not allow for such a glow up, or to not allow for your destiny to truly come in, and a lot of people might say destiny swapping type of energy, right? In the way that people often phrase it in the spiritual streets. But this person could have been or could be, excuse me, like materialistic. They're about money. Money, they like things. Maybe they like enjoy retail therapy. But they've got this unending desire for more, and satisfaction truly is elusive, as the card states. So, this isn't just somebody that goes, oh my gosh, yeah, I just really needed that retail therapy. That was a good session. I spent $130, right? And then I'm good, right? No, this is somebody that would always be, it's like you go out and, perhaps you're shopping, and then you come home and then you're online shopping. And it's not in the sense of like, well, I still need to find these 3 items so that, my kid's dorm at college is like, okay, right? Like, no, it's like just the way this person may live, or, it doesn't have to be that, but it's something like obsessive, maybe obsessive compulsive. I'm not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm just saying it's this, again, like the card states, unending desire energy that I'm picking up on. Okay. And so this person, how misery loves company, maybe they expected you to be part of that and just kind of like go around and round and just, ultimately be in this conflicting energy. And it's interesting that the card would say that, and that channeling would come out like that, because now that takes me back to um, the various seemingly contradictory information coming your way. So this person, maybe, says things and then does another, and then says, oh, I never said that. When did I say that? Or says nothing and does something, that, maybe has affected you in certain ways to bring about this conflict. Maybe in certain ways they just wanted to be in conflict so that they could be in your energy, in your, it's kind of given like energy vampire, but spirit saying the time, this is done. Like, it's gonna be done. Time's up. You done, they're done, done, right? And this person wanted you kind of like to fall from grace, as it were. So this sounds like somebody who's placed somebody on a pedestal that maybe the collective member didn't even know about, and then tried to chop it down. But again, the collective member didn't know about so just like was living. And it's so interesting because this person could be, it's giving energy vampire, monitoring spirit, like it's very control freak type of vibes, right? With that tangled slash Rapunzel energy coming through. And this card came out that says, who's the hunter, right? You could have felt hunted often, monitored often. I can't really get around that energy. And it says, the hunter seemingly in full control, seemingly, is actually trapped in peril, and surface advantages conceal the crisis of role reversal. The next thing the card states says, hold your ground to avoid being countered and stay vigilant to the role misalignment beneath appearances. So this person definitely masked up as being much more confident than they truthfully are. That can happen in a lot of like narcissistic dynamics. You know, Narcissists at their root are just, often scared and hurt. And there is a, type of, I'm not diagnosing, I'm not claiming, I don't know everything about narcissists. I feel like I could write a book, but I don't know everything about anything. So there's that. But there is some sort of like break that can happen that, alters the brain chemistry to just really have some sort of defect there, or my understanding, they can just slide out their mama that way. But anyways, so somebody here could work with computers, technology, but this was also kind of giving me that energetic drain. Maybe this person also, maybe works with computers, and maybe they just are feeling drained at work, and because of all of this conflict. Okay. Or they, again, need your energy to kind of like get through the day, whether they're aware of that or not. Or again, with that monitoring spirit energy, this person could be, quite disgruntled with things that they're seeing you share. And there is this theme again with this Rapunzel, tangled, stuck energy, right, coming through. And Spirit wants you to know that you can really just kind of speak out, here I am safe, right, in the midst of this chaos type of energy, to create this emotional sanctuary. Many of you, perhaps already understand that and have been performing levels and measures of ways to alchemize and self-soothe and keep your central nervous system regulated. For those that, maybe in the space and the environment of these people, or just in general, like at nighttime when, thoughts may try to get the best of you, kind of thing. Um, and Spirit saying, continue to have your understanding that your voice does matter, right? There is obviously the sentiment behind that of picking your battles, right? But you're not to be like steamrolled over in any way, shape, or form. You're protected, of course. So it's giving, fear not, understand you are safe. You could literally be in the eye of the storm, and even there too, you are safe. And again, you either have to believe at this or not, you know what I'm saying, in order to keep your peace about the truth. I said what I said, okay? You are unbreakable, and so you just need to own up to that. Now, unbreakable, look at this shit. It's raining, there's freaking lightning, there could be storms around where you're located, all right? And doesn't have to be the case, but my point is, this is such a strong statement, unbreakable, right? But yet, look at the chaos in the card. Look at the uncomfortability, perhaps, in the card, all right? And it's giving, so what of it? It's going back to, maybe there is something in the message that we just had the other night with that, but did you die, right? It's giving, you're here to, live to tell the story. You're here to triumph. You're here to be the inspiration that is needed here in this realm, right? And Spirit saying, just continue to do what allows you to maintain that baseline energy, calm, peace, and serenity. All right. Unbothered doesn't necessarily mean you forgot, you don't know, and you don't remember. But at the same time, look how this unbreakable individual is quite unbothered going through the chaos, and it's just giving like you can too, or you are too, and good on you. Okay. This person definitely could have been a friend, could be a relative as well, you guys. But this was somebody that was like a sibling to you, as the card states. All right, somebody really close. And, there's something about messages here. Um, Somebody ignoring messages, or, maybe saying they were busy and getting back late kind of thing, or just trying to produce anxiety through, the way things are framed in messages, or the way there is response times, etc. This person was hiding behind a mask, okay? As you were ascending and growing up and glowing up, whether this has anything to do with the outside appearance or not, you guys. But I get for many of you it would have to, again, just at least that auric field energy, to be clear. It's almost like, you were the mirror for this person to realize like, hey, this is the way that, if you're going this path, you would. It's almost like, this makes me think of the other day. I was hiking with some very beautiful souls, and the one, and it's funny because we'd actually just met, um, and she was just so kind and caring to be like, okay, she knew I hadn't been on the trail before, and she's like, step here, or even certain parts she too hadn't been. It's like, okay, you're gonna do better on this side if you don't want to slip as much, right? Things like that, right? And it's almost like you were that type of guiding light, right, for this person, and they took it and internalized it as if you were just burning them, like, because you glowed, but you were like illuminating the path in certain ways. It could have been, advice, it could have been fill in the blank there. Whoever's going to resonate with this, you already know, right? So it's almost like they chose to be victimized in their world, in their version of it, of the same scenario. And you chose to just choose you, in the hopes that, this person would also choose them, right? So that the vibrational frequency would maintain a match, right? But everybody's got free will, you know? So Spirit's saying, let it go, let them, right? They're talking about you, okay. Now there's some significance to dating, all right? There is love coming in for you. I don't know why this is so like choppy here, because it's just this little snippet of like, so maybe some out of the collective were wondering, hey, is love actually going to be a thing for me, right? And to be clear, I'm honing in on the people out of the collective that resonate with what we've talked about so far, if that makes sense. So, and I'm not saying that to be exclusive. I'm saying that to give the most specific confirmation that I can give, all right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, if you didn't resonate with none of this so far, you shouldn't claim this, because yes, you should. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. But continue on with your boundaries, whether you're going to have a dating app or not, especially if you're going to be on a dating app, you damn sure better have boundaries. Okay. Don't hurt nobody and don't let nobody hurt you. Just saying. So serious. Okay. This person, really didn't enjoy what they saw in the mirror, aka you. This isn't even just about your glow up, it's about your authenticity. You say what other people maybe think and would never say, which is so odd because what you're saying is truth. A lot of people lie. Apparently a lot of people prefer lies so that things can be more palatable. I don't operate like that. You guys don't operate like that. And so that's what was the problem. That's the Bob, right? Maybe somebody's name is Bob here. But the comeback, the bounce back, all right, whether you're bouncing when you're coming back or not, is real, I'm hearing to say, okay? So you are on the good side of karma. It's just that things get messy when you break cycles, right? You recognize patterns, loops, holes in people's stories, all this, that, and the third. And you chose you. You chose truth, authenticity, self-love. Okay? And so that means that, people aren't able to go where you're going. And that also means going through the fire, going through the storm, you're okay with that. You see how it's a win-win? I'm not saying it's not painful. I'm not saying you didn't sacrifice, right? But at the end of the day, the message still stands, right? That's just protection. You've got at least love coming. It ain't just love, right? There's a level and measure of protection that can't come in necessarily till you get done with this cycle. Makes sense, right? Here's this fire energy again. All right, so maybe there is some significance to fire birth chart placements. Doesn't have to be the case. And it says, those who wrong you won't say sorry, but you, fearless goddess, use their blame as fuel. So whether you're guy, girl, goddess, or what have you, right? The general sentiment here is you are an alchemist, and congratulations, good on you. You're doing the damn thing. You are in alignment. You are doing what you came to do. I didn't say it feels like roses and candy, and that there's always comfort and always fairness, but the message stands, okay? Those who wrong you won't say sorry. It's interesting. Many of you may know this, but I was taught as a very young child by Holy Spirit. And I say it that way because I was very much in the church. And so what I was communicating with, I was taught was Holy Spirit, okay? I'm not saying it wasn't Holy Spirit. I'm just saying. But I say it that way because those same religious folks would never believe me the way that I am now, that I could even connect to Holy Spirit, because they don't even believe that I could connect to God. But it's that same spirit that I was connecting with inside and outside of their churches. Anywho, so this is the epitome of, okay, somebody's throwing stones at you, pick them up and build, baby. Build till you got more than they got. Because you can, and you will. Why? Because you're an alchemist. If you don't understand that term, look it up. All right? What's so great is in today's times, you don't even have to know how to spell anything. You can just talk to text it. So, all right, no excuses, you guys. Embrace the elements is also coming back. All right, there's something about rain, wind, and sun, nature's elements. I was talking about hiking. I was also guided to put on some water, right? Some audio that I had taken many moon cycles back of the elements, and now we're talking about that. Could be some significance to like a greyhound or exotic type of pet, and maybe you dress them up. It's cute. There's like little strawberries on the hoodie. Oh my gosh, if that's you, can you please share something in the community boards? That'd be great. We'd all love to see it, I'm sure. Anyone who has pets and you dress them up, please. I love those kind of pictures. Trust your anchor. Hold a safety symbol when overwhelmed. There's no need to solve every storm. Find power in chaos. And you guys, this is the actual deck where at the end of pile 2, I was using and was guided to use for pile number 1. So we are almost done. I'm going to ring that bell for the freebies. All right. You're asked to continue to make dietary changes. All right. Whatever dietary changes you've been making, all right, stick to and continue on, okay? Because there's something coming about like, health shouldn't be neglected right now. And I get it, because health is wealth. Like, if you don't have your mobility, how hard are you working at what job? Like, things like that. You got to take yourself and your vessel seriously at this point, okay? Because there's a lot of change and transition, a lot of symptomatology, etc. And so you just don't want to make it any more harsh, all right, of a situation. Something about dating, okay, maybe you are being guided to get out there, okay? Maybe, maybe you recently were thinking about it or just set up an account, okay? But authenticity trumps perfection, Spirit wants you to know. So don't you get down on yourself for being authentic. Because First of all, no one's perfect. So even the liars, the liars damn sure aren't perfect, right? So how are you, the authentic one, telling your truth, right? Telling the truth. How are you wrong for that? How are you imperfect for that, right? The issue is many of us, I mean, I'll speak for myself, don't enjoy necessarily being the bone of contention, the source of the trigger, right? Again, being that mirror energy. Can't help it. We exist. We're just authentic, right? So, I think that's where, sometimes we do grapple with, okay, should we place like more percentage of the blame on us here? Because, you want to really kind of never again experience anyone being hurt. You really kind of never ever again want to meet anyone who's ever been hurt, because you know that hurt people and hurt people can project, and gaslighters can gaslight, and many of us are damn near recluse because of the past experiences that we've literally fought to live out of, right? I get it. But still, the caveat here is don't dim your light to meet others' expectations, all right? And they will try. I know they will try. I know. But the keyword try to dim your light. See, the problem only comes in when you acquiesce to the request, right? When you go, okay, I'll just put myself under a rock. In the new earth, no, we can't. No, that's not even. We can't even do that one. Whatever emotions are coming through, because, I get it. This is supposed to be, many of you, somebody really good to you, somebody on your team, right? And maybe, maybe they used to be like, but at the same time, it's giving, even with this, it's like, look at her face, look at him. He's all like, yeah, you're my bestie, you're my friend, like, I love you so much. Like, we are vibing. And she's all like, touching me. Right? So again, going back to that materialism, maybe this is somebody that just like allowed for certain things to seem certain ways so that they could get whatever services, goods, whatever out of you. Okay? But the thing is, going back to learning and growing soul, right? This is a journey, it's an experience. So you can either alchemize it and get the goods, right? It's kind of giving video game vibes, but maybe I've just been going, maybe I've just been gaming a little too hard, but it's kind of given like, it's almost like if this were a video game and at the end, instead of like going on to the next level, it's just you get a new version of yourself that's like wiser, stronger, and more protected, right? That's kind of what I'm picking up on, this energy of the collective members just really just leveling up, and being content on the like being grateful, and again being stronger. And that would piss people off that didn't understand that mentality or lifestyle. I suppose you'd have to have a direct connect to divinity for sure, because that's the only real way to kind of maintain that vibration. So this is definitely a mismatch in vibration here. Ain't no way that there's like to be a repair, even if there was, because spirit, like by divine order, is saying there's not. And allow what you've experienced to kind of assist you with the transformation that you're undergoing anyway. And for whatever you're looking for out of life, or out of these next steps, or on the other side of this tragedy, travesty, tower moment type of energy, you get soft era, right? You get your wishes fulfilled. Um, and continue on. Your success at this is inspiring others. It's part of the path. Like, you really can't get around it. You gotta go through it. You could be a divine feminine. I had to make sure I could share the card. Some of these I can't. You don't have to be divine feminine, but I need you to know, whether you're a guy, girl, what have you, you do have feminine energy as well as masculine energy, right? So take that however that resonates. This says, craft your femininity free from rigid rules. Reject society's dictates on what a woman should be. So, here's the thing, you guys. Oracle cards can be quite limited. I'm just getting that this is falling in line with, again, this energy of, speaking up. Maybe this person, I can't get around, there's definitely a tie-in here for some, not all, because I can't get around this rebellion energy. This person maybe, tried to say, oh, collective member is rebellious, collective member is loud, collective member is demanding, all these things. Spirit saying, trust the process, right? You learn some things, they learn some things. And you're on the good end of karma, so like, where's the problem? It's still giving, right? Okay, it's giving calm down, just keep going. All right. So on the other side, you're going to be again in this soft era. It's giving like, okay, so did you want the umbrella this time, Mrs. James, or did you, you know and maybe right now you're sitting there as Ms. James. Did you catch that? All right. Ooh, I caught it, because you know what? Your energy, if you caught that one, damn sure is in pound number 2. I'm so serious, can't make it up. Um, and so this person, maybe there is some significance to the features. Maybe somebody wears a red lip, somebody has dark hair, pale skin. Doesn't have to be the case, you guys. But, this card is talking about sabotaging your progress. And Spirit saying, don't let the outside world distract you. From whatever solution that gets you to this wishes granted type of energy. Don't let the outside world distract you from learning the lesson the first time, kind of thing, right? And appreciate the beauty in the small things, and also inclusive of appreciating the beauty in the journey. Sometimes there's beauty in pain, you guys. If you look hard enough, you can find it. You know what I mean? I think we talked about a couple examples actually, if you circle back on tonight's session. All right. But feel and heal. Okay, if you got to cry it out, go ahead. Don't get stuck there though. If you gotta self-reflect and do some introspection in your head, that's cool. Don't get stuck there though. Okay. And so I had gone ahead already, you guys. I'm gonna ring the bell for the freebies, right? But I had gone ahead and pulled the chart placements and the initials. This could be first, middle, or last name initials on the part of you or this person. Same deal with the chart placements, okay? All right, so the first initial F, we've got E, we've got R, we've got P, we've got M. There could be some significance to nighttime. We've got H, we've got D. There's that like electronics vibe with the laptops and stuff. Maybe somebody works in tech. We've got G. We've got U. We've got L. All right, this is kind of make me think of, I know it's not really like spelled that way, but it's almost like somebody thought maybe you'd be gullible enough to continue with the cycle. We've got K. We've got S. All right, in chart placements, we've got a few here. Sagittarius, Scorpio, Leo, Pisces, Capricorn, and Aries. They don't show up so well on the thing anyway. So that's what I have for pile number 1, you guys. Get your questions in accordingly, if applicable still, right? But you are protected. You are safe. Please know that. Don't get up in your head. I think that just energetically, there's a lot going on. You might have a lot being projected at you, towards you. Okay, evil eye is a bitch sometimes, right? But at the same time, though the weapon may be formed, though the bippity boppity may be performed, it shall not prosper, right? Every time, okay? So even when it seems like it, that's still seriously the truth, you guys, okay? And you either believe that and stand on it, or you get a little shaky and shit can really go down that, divine saying, please don't go that route. You know what I mean? It's almost going back to the hiking reference. It's like, don't, if you go on this side of the path, or if you go on this trail, very rocky, very risky, right? And, there's just some guidance coming through for you. Take heed, take heart. But, don't lose hope. Okay, the soft era is real, right? We want to talk about evil eye being a bitch. Okay, but the soft era that's most assuredly already yours, okay, you gotta claim it so you can get to the tangibility. is also very real. Okay, you gotta believe. Okay, all right, let's see here. So, love and light, Sophie, if I didn't already say that. Love and light, Laura as well. Okay, now let me see. All right, so okay, so we're good. Nobody has any questions. I will skedaddle right on up into pile number 2. No worries. All right, that is our last pile for the night. For anyone wondering, and again, you guys really should stick around because I do get energetically there is some tie here. Okay, to this rebel that we've got to talk about. Oh, I need water. I swear, ginger, like I could take cayenne over ginger, like, just to drink it down. That shit burns, bro. I'm like, is it supposed to? And one time, one time I put it in the juicer, thank God. You guys, one time, I don't even know if I should out myself for that one. This one time, I really did not know what I was doing at all. Like, and not for not trying, right? But I had the audacity to juice, like, like 6 or 7, or would it be called? No, wait, 6 or 7, like, peeled garlic things, like organic garlic. I put all of that into the fucking juicer, not understanding, like, girl, stop trying to kill yourself. Bro, I got so sick. I got so sick, but I cleared out a whole bunch. That hurt, though. I will never do it again, to be clear. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't even put one up in there. Please save yourself. That hurt so bad. But the cayenne, like, I think I've, like, officially desensitized myself to it. But the ginger, bro, like, and then I turn around and I put, like, just a little piece of a piece in the juicer. It was not bad, but I knew if I put any more in there, it would have burned. It really would have burned, like, because some days when I make my juice, I just put, like, a whole bunch of stuff in there, like different things, just throw it in. And then other days I'm just like, I just want like 1 or 2 items in there, please and thank you. It's funny how the preference changes, but I think it's because, like, when you check into your body, like, it kind of tells you, like, hey, craving this to, you know, have this happen. Of course, that's outside of the realm of sugar cravings. Sugar cravings are just never good, right? And, you know, after, for anyone having an issue with celery, or, excuse me, with, hold on. For anyone having issue with sugar cravings, you damn sure might want to do some celery for at least 7 days, unless you're allergic to celery. Then I said nothing. Right. What's TT though? Oh, TikTok. Okay. I'm like, oh, I'm like, did you mean Timu? I didn't read the rest. Hold on, let me slow down. Yeah, Zane, yeah. Oh, wait, by that creator. Wait, hold on. What creator though? Because I don't remember what. I mean, I remember talking about Zane. Fiona, what creator though? Because I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry, I don't want to lie and be like, yeah. I'm glitching, I guess. Um. Oh, she didn't say anything yet. Okay, that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna look after I go through this because I don't wanna like put pressure on you, Fiona. Okay. Pile number 2 for the rebels, right? For the win. Rebel for the win. But we're talking about rebellion. And whoever I'm speaking to, okay, just overall, let's just talk about you really quick. You are somebody that stands out. You are somebody that would definitely resonate with having had the star card energy come out in your tarot readings multiple times. You are creative. You are expressive. You could be of LGBTQ plus community because I just got the lovely Leslie Jordan flash through my. Can you? I love Mr. Jordan, to be clear. All right, like, seriously, for real, for real. Like, I can't even not see that guy come up on the screen ever without being like, I could go from like, to being like, because he's so cute and I love him. Rest in peace, baby. All right, so anyways, um, and you definitely do things outside of the box. It's like, okay, so again, standing out, there is no ticky-tacky box with you. Right? Can't never be, and that's okay, because it does not equate to you being a bad person or having some sort of like personality defect or an issue with being an upright moral citizen kind of thing, right? It's not that. It's just that you've got this perhaps you might say effervescence about you. All right. um okay. Okay, tell me okay. Oh, I okay. CIA. Now there could be some significance. No, wait, hold on. I need you to know at the beginning of the session, I thought that I might be able to say something about the title of Who's Coming Your Way in Love, right? And that was my intent. But Spirit outed this ex-lover so damn bad that I couldn't get it. I tried again. I couldn't get around it. And I pulled so many cards. All right, so you guys got to believe me on that. So then I had to change the trajectory, as it were, and just explain that somebody is coming back. Okay. Being that the session initially was like, hey, who's coming your way? Like, as far as I knew, all right, I did pull from the Who, What, Where Oracle. I think I got this one from Etsy, you guys. And so we are going to go through some archetypes kind of awkwardly. Maybe there's some synchronicity to this awkwardness, though, if I do say so myself, okay? So the person that, might be on your mind, okay, might sync up with these archetypes. Doesn't have to be the case. Please utilize your own intuition. This is still a general collective message, though you might know that, I'm definitely hitting in on Jeremiah's energy, right? It might not always be all Jeremiah's energy. Same deal with if I'm talking about your situation. What all ever comes out referable to the channeling and the cards in this pile number 2, may not have a thing to do with your situationship, relationship. Okay, so you got to utilize your own intuition. All right. This person could go by a nickname, or this could be describing you. All right. There's some significance to wearing red. Whether that's t-shirt, sneakers, hat, jewelry, or what. You could know them to have lived in more than one country, or this could be you. And somebody's got a pet here. And an unusual hair feature coming out again in that card. So weird to say, like, oh, what did the purple look like? Had an unusual hair feature. It's like, where were you on the night of the 5th? I was at the barber's. What were you doing? Getting an unusual hair feature. Let me stop. Okay, anyways. They could wear something meaningful to them, sentimental to them often, or iconic to them. It could be a chain, hat. I'm hearing derby. I don't. In your perhaps having an encounter between now and a year from now. Who wants to hear that? I don't know, but it came out. And when this person comes back around, and or when they kind of like get to communicating, whether you are together, because I say that because it could be communication via text, right, or remote type of situation, music could very well be playing. All right. Now, Spirit wants you to know when this person comes back, this is a good outcome. It's interesting. Look at this card. This was pulled from one of my Lenormands, right? This is like, so, like, I could just stop it here. Like, hey, in case you're wondering about your buddy, there you go, And the crazy thing is that if that weren't enough to convince you that this ends well, both the rich gent and rich girl came out. So this could be a hetero couple, doesn't have to be the case, but either way, it's giving power couple baby. So this could be very well somebody that you have known and loved on, however you want, loved down, however you want to say it, okay? Because this is somebody you damn sure did the damn, all of that with, right? And this could very well be somebody that you expected to build with. It's like, duh, this makes sense. Black and white on paper. Like, you know, maybe there's some significance to being black and or white. Okay, it doesn't have to be the case, you guys. I meant like black and white on paper, but then I heard it. I was like, oh. And somebody could be in the military. If that is you or this person, they could be in high honors. But really what I just got with the high honors um, coming out on the other side of the rich girl and rich gent, of course, is that power couple energy. Of course, is that like equally yoked, right? So obviously we're talking about divine vibes. Makes sense. Now there could be some significance to, aside from the military, somebody working in the court system, whether this is, you know, judge, lawyer, confirmation, right? Um, and this is going to lead to marriage, okay, if you're not already married. All right. And the crazy thing, I don't even know where this deck is. I think it might be packed up, you guys. But this is the names deck, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead. Ooh, somebody does. I'm just going to go ahead and read off all of the names on this card. It's the only one that came out. It was not supposed to be in the card deck that I was utilizing, okay? But, you know, nothing just happens, right? So take whatever resonates, but I want to make sure that you understand some of the names here. It may not be your name. It may not be your person's name, whether first, middle, or last. It could be somebody connected to them, somebody iconic, a pet's name, you know, so take what resonates here. And so the names are as follows: Sophia, Felicia, Becky, Joel, Tricky, Johan, Karen, Mary, and Rosie. There could be some significance to the number 9. All right, I also saw that 9 is a 6, so could be some significance to that 69 energy, right? Right, okay, and so romance angels were consulted here, all right, this deck. And this is where I was like, I can't fucking get around it. Reconciliation. It's like, well, how would it be reconciliation with somebody you never knew, right? Somebody coming your way, okay? They're coming your way, but they're coming back. Does that make sense? Okay. So someone from your past is returning to love you down. And Spirit saying make the effort when they do, right? When they do. See how he's reaching for her. She's receding in that soft girl era, right? So that's the protocol for the divine feminine anyhow, right? Divine masculine, go on ahead and reach, baby, because you're going to grab a whole lot of good stuff, you know, because there's chemistry here and it's good and you know it, all right? So give this relationship a chance, whether that's you, divine masculine or divine feminine. Love yourselves first, okay? I want to pluralize that because guess what? The best way to make any connection work, whether platonic or romantic or otherwise, right, is for everyone to love themselves enough. And so much so that everyone else around them is loved out of their overflow. And really the long and short of that, the reason why behind that is because then you're not one of those people hurting people. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. But trust when this person comes in. Some of you actually have another ex you should be releasing, okay? Also release the ex version of this person, because ain't no way that's fair for you to be learning, growing, glowing up your soul and acting like it was just you, okay? This person can't even make the trek back around the mountain to your ass without spirit giving the okay, which means they too had work to do and they too have grown up and are glowing, all right? How could they not? Because otherwise it's not a vibrational frequency match, just like we talked about in pile number 1. Makes sense? All right. So express your love. Don't be scared about it. Don't be bitter and, you know, resentful, okay, about it. This person's coming in very, very soon because you've been attracting them in by choosing you, loving yourself first. And so we just talked about loving yourself first. Why is that? So that you don't forget when this person comes back around, because you know it's going to be good and they're going to be, you know, and then you going to be, you know what I'm saying? But you still got you, right? If you lose yourself in any connection, divine's not going to allow for you to stay in that connection. I don't care who you are. It's just not a thing. Especially for New Earth. Yeah, no, we're not. But this is true love, so it's giving it's worth it, okay? It's giving it's already here for you. You should just receive, right? You don't even have to reach, okay? Unless you're that divine masculine. And even then, divine masculine, you're being assisted in that reach. Ain't no way you're just going to be set up for failure, right? I almost said again. maybe some divine masculines feel like they've been, I get that. We've all felt those things. I mean, even Yeshua is quoted as saying, Father, why have thou forsaken me, right? In the moment of like some of the most severe pain and treachery, right? Right. Okay, so means you've gone through a lot, but guess what? If you've gone through a lot, you get a lot more pleasantries up ahead. I think we talk about that a lot on this channel. And so if you weren't aware, check out some of the other videos, you guys. All right. Reclaim your trust. All right. So there is some wounding here that, maybe is actually mirrored betwixt you two. Okay. I say it that way because if this is your twin flame, perhaps, right? Definitely going to be a situation where there's going to be mirroring. And the mirroring can happen in some of the most glorious and beautiful ways. And the mirroring can also happen referable to triggering ways, right? Where you've got to heal and alchemize and understand that you are safe, right? Embrace balance. Okay, but here's a sitch. You got to co-create balance. Blend ambition with rest, passion with presence. Don't sacrifice one aspect of life for another. And so there is this prerequisite work here for the divine feminine, at least. Okay, it sounds sensible to assume in this scenario that it should be both the divine masculine and feminine here, irregardless of whether this is LGBTQ plus community vibes, right? In this dynamic, you can't lose self in the other. So there might be practices and about your environment, about your paths leading up to, and again, this person's coming in soon, to ensure that you can trust yourself being in this connection. I personally was wondering, like, okay, so, once you find that balance, exactly what would that look like? Because, many of us are, I'll say it this way, former overgivers, right? And so I recently was taught a lesson about how I'm still working out on the balance of that. And, it was a little disappointing because I feel like I've done so much work in that area. But at the same time, you can't be over grateful for crumbs. Does that make sense? So it's like you can't not identify the crumbs as crumbs just because you're grateful for it. And, just because you've taught yourself to, again, find beauty in the small things, which was some of the next steps and advice that came out through some of the channeling for this particular session, right? Doesn't mean that you should always and always do that and every time do it, Could you imagine if just because, could you imagine if you adopted the mentality of, well, back on April 19th in the year 2001, I was able to help somebody relocate from the state of Arizona to Nebraska, right? And so just because that's your truth and that's what and like that's great and everything, that's very helpful, I'm sure, and hopefully the person appreciated it, doesn't mean that the next time you hear somebody needing to relocate, regardless of if Nebraska is involved or not, or wherever, right, that you have to, let alone should and are expected by divine forces to relocate that. Does that make sense? So it's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should all the time. Just because you're asked to, even by divine forces, sometimes to should, doesn't mean you should all the time. See, you know what I mean? You got to use your intuition, spirit of discernment, all right, and make it make sense. And therein is that balance. And therein is what allows for you to reclaim your trust, to then allow for this true love connection to come in. And you know what? As I'm talking about that, I'm being reminded again, this could be both of you, all right? And Spirit saying, get ready for the financial upgrade now. There is damn sure a financial upgrade with any power couple coming together. And by power couple, I'm not saying that this is necessarily always, from one coupling to the next tier out of this pile number 2. I'm not saying that this is already 2 individuals with 2 very fat bank accounts, but I need you to know that ain't no problem, because once, how they say 2 heads are better than 1, 2 super brains, right, with divine, assistance and wisdom and things, right, can make a lot of shit shake in a glorious way. So again, you know how to be grateful for the small stuff. Divine's asking you to start in your right now space being grateful for the bigger things, okay? And I know personally, Spirit's been asking me to think bigger, right? Think beyond what you've dreamed. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm working on it. I really am, because okay, like, it's like, okay, I know I love beach, right? There's different kinds of beaches, and Divine's like, so, beach, and I'm like, beach is great, beach is great, right? You know, um, just using a very like generic example because I didn't even want to use it in the realm of love, like so and so's great. But you get what I'm saying. You can apply it to whatever you're looking to manifest, to experience, or whatever, your scenario is. Because I feel like a lot of us right now are being asked out of our comfort zone for what feels like the gabillionth time in a lot of ways, not just one, right? And again, trust your journey. It's a journey. It's a process. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's levels to this ascension, right? But the whole time, again, giving, but did you? Because this owl is also indicative of the wisdom that you are gathering along the way. Like, you were just leveling up. Where's the problem? Right? Like, Super Mario Brother was never really like, oh my god, you made me eat the star, now I'm all fat. No, it's like, it's more like, hey, now I can do these things, and right? So which program are you going to stick with in the mental space? The positive one? Yeah, there's no other. Let's not even address anything else, okay? Because you're just so damn blessed. All right. Shed the pretense. I can't show all of what she's shedding here. I'm also hearing to say there could be some significance to somebody again having dark hair, light features. Um, Break free from limits. Embrace your truth. Freedom blooms in authenticity. So there's that word again. Authenticity. Sounds like you're learning, growing your soul. Sounds like you are doing the damn thing because it's working, attracting in this soulmate, twin flame energy, however you want to say it, okay? And there is something coming through for the collective. I want to say it that way because this is spanning from a few different channels that I've noticed. There is some aspect of the fascia in the body needing to be like assisted, addressed, worked with, okay, worked around. Because this is kind of coming through with this card as well. Stretch your body and dance with your soul. Don't let busyness steal your yoga time. You guys, you do need to check into the body right now. You can get messages, like, how everybody's all like, oh, prayer and meditation. Check into the body. That's the same type of stuff. Like, you can get some deep messages just by doing some of those slow, long breaths with stretch and hold. Right? Like, you will be surprised what space you're creating even in that moment to receive. Okay, it's not just about just the yoga as far as exercise, right? Some people, let's throw yoga out the window if we've got in and plug in taking a walk, right? Or plug in reducing phone time, right? You've got to go within. There's just no way to get around it if you want to succeed in the actual new earth energy. You got to go through this. You got to go within. What if you trusted yourself? Okay, you got to go within to do this work so that you can get to the point where you're resolved in the trust of yourself as well as the trust of divine forces that back you. Okay, and so Spirit saying, close your eyes and ask, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And let that answer guide you. If you don't even have an answer, let that feeling guide you. Like I was talking about the other night on the live stream. It's like, how does it feel to live that dream life of yours? What are you wearing? Where are you living? What do you look like? How is your hair? Right? Like, and speaking of all of those things, you're clearly a very unique individual. All right, celebrate what makes you different, you guys. And again, you are just breaking free from not only societal norms, but, cycles. you know? And this person has a, I want to say short but sweet, right? But really it's giving quick and dirty kind of message for you, okay? They're saying, I'm ready. And you know, most people call 0 and O, right? So they could be using the O method, or you both could with that mirror energy. Could be some significance to the angelic code of 7 as well. Let me tell you, 7s do speak of rewards as well as, again, closing out those cycles. And they're saying, let me have you. Ooh. And divine feminine saying, come get it, right? Get that reach going there, divine masculine, right? Because this is true love. No way around that either. And so I have gone ahead and pulled the chart placements as well as the initials. And I do have a bit of a... Ooh. do have a bit... Ooh, some significance to Felicia. But, you know, that makes me think of... was that Friday? Yeah, somebody could smoke. It's like, bye, Felicia. Remember when that started? I think that was like the 90s, you guys. Bye, Felicia. Everything was bye, Felicia. Now Karen's up to bat and shit. I'm like, who's next? Brenda? like, who is that? But anyways, you guys, final bell call. All right, for those that needed to know. We have S. All right, we've got Y. We've got P, whether first, middle, or last name initial on the part of you or this person. M. Love and Light J. Love and Light Prada Bun. We've got H. We've got N. Oh, I was like, are there 2 there? We've got L. Maybe there's some significance. Somebody has 2 L's in their name. Because I really tried to pull that card apart for like absolutely no other reason. We've got C. We've got Q. It's a Q, I promise. It just looks weird. We've got Z. Chart placements, you guys. Sagittarius, Aries, Taurus, Virgo, and Gemini. All right, now some of you, this person's looking for you, okay? This is, again, people who are what is lovingly termed as in separation. This could be in the formal sense because, again, some people may perhaps be married already. But this person is looking for you. This person could also be looking for you because of karma. And so what I mean by that is somebody needs a cleanser energy. Sometimes, like, you know, you could just be living life and your guides knowing that you were wronged in a certain way, like even in the realm of love, you guys, right? It's like, no, that's your person. Like, what the fuck? That's your person. You just shat on your person, you know, and you're all over in the corner, like, licking your wounds, like, oh, shat on me. Right? And, your guides don't take a liking to that so much. They don't play about collective, right? So, next thing you know, people are seeing your face in dreams and on sides of buses and, you know, maybe even in the literal sense, right? Because, you know, glow up energy, you could damn sure be on that bus rap. Go ahead, girl, I see you. I'm not mad at you, okay? Go ahead, sir, king, queen. All right. But, literally could just be like almost like a haunting effect and you have no idea. They know, but, you know, it's so interesting. So I'm picking up a little bit on some of that energy. Some of you could have disappeared. It's like, well, I'm not going to stay around for you to just, like, actually, like, crap on me. Right? Or they crapped on you and became the disappearing act, okay? But the crazy thing is, even though there's this separation, y'all know about each other, see each other, and are right there, right there. It's almost like divine masculine just had to take a couple seconds to reach. it's almost like Divine Masculine had just a couple more seconds needed to match the vibrational frequency. You guys, energy is everything. This is why it's very important. You can't fuck around with somebody that's not really there. Does that make sense? Like, how are you just going to be acting like it's a match when you can't reach them or keep them? Because it's not designed that way, right? That'd be like expecting that you should be able to see your neighbors through the walls of both of your houses at the ready. And it's like, that's not a natural, normal occurrence. It's not designed that way. That's why there's fucking walls there in the first place, right? So this person previously, to be clear, was quite toxic. The situation, same deal, right? This person could have asked you to compromise yourself in ways you just were unwilling, or they could have gaslit you to suggest that you were doing that to them. Okay, take what resonates there. There could be some significance to the theater performance type energy, right? Industry, right? Doesn't have to be the case. This person could have rejected you, okay, or the performance that they were giving, just turned you off, gave you the ick. Either way, right, there's separation that occurred here. This is, again, somebody you damn sure hit that red room with, you know what I'm saying? Freaking naked. I'm mad at you. But there's breakthrough energy here, okay, and it's leading to happiness. This is your person, the one, okay? I feel like whoever I'm speaking to, it's like you already know that though, but it's like they know it now. And I feel like that's why the masculine's on the card kind of thing. And they're going to come in with communication because you have been selected. Now this kind of felt bittersweet because it's like, damn, like collective was never an option. Collective was already always the option, right? But at the same time, who are we to judge for people not being able to see clearly when we also haven't already been able to see this person, let alone many others, clearly? Because for those that are you're doing the work, you're still having these realizations like, dang, I see now, because hindsight's 2020, right? I see now, and not for not trying to see when you're going through the thick of it, but when you're hurt, or when you're not as mature, or when you're, not taking time out to get the downloads because you're not doing some of those long stretches and things like that, right? Not allowing yourself to come full circle and understanding in higher self mode some of these things, occurrences, past events, triggers, wounds, right? The mirror, okay? But us divine feminines are still, and rightfully so, no shame or stigma, learning through the experience in spite of the separation, okay? It's like, wow, like, I realized that basically our wounding was so similar that we missed it about this one aspect of our wounding, right? Because hurt people, and if you are definitely on the twin flame journey, like, you damn sure gonna be hurt somewhere along the line a lot of times, and you're gonna have to learn to alchemize that to the point where you can be in a connection where you do not lose yourself and where it is not toxic. Sounds so simple, right? I know. But look, this ends well. It's good fortune attached to it, anointing attached to it, however you need to say, right? We already saw from the Lenormand that matching energy on the card, talking about that good as well. All right, and this person is coming back with a strategy, okay? They are not going to come back wishy-washy. They are not going to come back not choosing you. Or if this person has the audacity to even make it all the way back to you, and I say it that way because I don't know that the guides would allow for it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And they have no ability to even explain to you that they are ready. That's not your person. That's not the person I'm talking about. This ain't that. I don't know what you thought I said, but that's because this person, and whoever I'm speaking of, collective, okay, they're coming back, and this might be a little scary for you. How about that? Like, oh, so you just pulled your head all the way up, so you just know, so you know that you know, so you see me now. Oh, so who, can feel a little vulnerable, right? Are you ready? All right. That's what I have for pile number 2. Okay, last call, you guys, again on that bell ring. Have a wonderful shower, Jay. Let's see. Will you run into A this week? Okay, if you're still here, I will. I don't know if you're still here, but yes. Okay, and there's justice behind that. Okay, so yeah, you're good. I don't know about A, but you're good. Let me stop. You're good. Justice. Okay. Alright, let's see here about Sophia missing more comment. Alright, so here we're going to have the talk, Mohammed. Alright. Next time you come on and you have a free question, you need to make sure it's not about Sophia, because here's what's happening and Spirit's outing you about this. Yes, it's a yes. Okay, but now what? Now what is you've got to balance out your mental and heart space, okay? Know that there are brighter days between you and Sophia, so you can understand that you have something good to look forward about that. But in the meantime, what will you do? You have to focus on your own path. What are you doing? What are you saying? What are you believing? You've got to utilize your strength to allow for this connection to come in, because unless and until you balance out what you've got going on as far as how high of a pedestal you've placed Sophia on, perhaps, right? This connection is not really going to be able to come into full fruition, right? And that's why you've got to utilize your strength so that you can allow for this connection to get into brighter energy, right? But it is a yes. But we don't want to abuse tarot, and we don't want to obsess, okay? So we'll comment next time. You may ask a question, of course, just not about Sophia, all right? So we don't want to overdo it, okay? Not much of the money. Okay, let's see here, Susan. Yes, I understand you are in distance, proud of it. What the message, I said you were in distance, so we're saying the same thing. I do see that for whatever reason, Brian may have been a bit stoic lately or lackluster in the passion department, with this energy kind of like trying to snuff out the normally pretty passionate type of energy. But there is a rebirth here, okay, especially with the death card energy pairing with the Ace of Cups, okay? And now I'm looking at brighter, lighter days, okay, calmer waters, as well as wish fulfillment there, okay? That's what I have for you, Susan, regarding Brian. Oh, that's a good idea to ask for a job next time. Ask about a job next time, Pradaban. Good, or Mohammed. Sorry. Yeah, that's good thinking, Mohammed. Good job. All right. You're very welcome, Susan. Okay, now the person on, yeah. We definitely do, because Fiona, that's exactly what happened to me. Like, I connected, and it's so funny because I was actually talking about you to my kid earlier today, because I did the same thing to her. But it's like I do it unknowingly. Like, especially, like, okay, so I'm like the type of person where, like if I'm talking to you, or if I focus on you long enough, I might just start picking things up, and I'll know that. But then also, I might actually just start thinking I'm thinking about things, very specific things, up until the point of the conversation that goes like, I was just talking about that, I was just thinking that, I was just had a dream about that, and I go, oh, I'm doing it again, right? So it's nothing that I like day by day intend to do, right? Like, of course, okay, if I'm gonna do a reading, I'm gonna intend to do it, but it's kind of like annoying, because sometimes like I'll think that, like I was thinking the thoughts, but really I'm channeling. Does that make sense? That's like, so I'm still trying to like work on the balance of that. I don't even know how, like, that's why I wish I could go to one of those schools, you guys, so that I could like get like some of the mentorship. Like, I know there's one in I think, I don't know if it's actually in Salem, but like around there, like that'd be neat. But I think Kim Rizzo's connected to that school. But I don't know, I'm not sure if they only do juveniles or not. I think they don't. But anyways, I would love to do something like that so that I could because they have those shows like where I think it's called Psychic Kids is one of them, right? I'll watch them, but like I still have some of my own questions. Like, I'm not fighting an entity at the moment. I'm just have some of these other questions. It'd be nice to like get some of that instruction. So if you guys know anyone, please. Um, I have to figure out. Yeah, I have to go try to figure out my TikTok. That's one thing I still on my to-do list because I don't know. I have like a couple of accounts and I have to figure some other shit out. So long story short, I don't know that I'm gonna get there very soon, but that's probably why I was like, "What's TT?" But yeah. So um, it's crazy some of these giftings, and like you guys are probably experiencing what you did know you have heightening, right? It's not just me, right, you guys? And again, you guys, it makes sense that Spirit was telling us, hey, check into your body, cleanse your body, do what you can for your body. Because when you do that, you do get messages much more easily and clearer. But that can be a little like, whoa, too. Like, shit. Yes, cause see, Kim Russo, I think she's assisted like with certain cases and stuff. I aspire to do that. Like I have assisted people, not in the sense of like remote viewing, but kinda like through foundational use of the cards as led by Spirit. I don't, if you guys notice, I don't always have traditional decks. Like it'll just be like I'll be out and I see something, or like I see something is like perhaps on Marketplace or something, and I'm guided to it. It's like what? And it could just be a deck with words. It could just be a deck with pictures and no words, and just whatever comes out as like a conduit, I guess. So. But I'm also noticing, you guys, that the cards aren't necessarily helping because they just start to become so repetitive. Um, Even and not for not trying, like even with clarifying, it's like, okay, yeah, we just said that, or like, yeah, I just said that they're channeling, or like, yeah, but yeah. So I think I have to rework how I do use some of the cards as well, because like I don't want the message to be so damn redundant and boring. But at the same time, I do enjoy the confirmation that I can provide you guys with the cards. Like, hey, see this, how this, and it's so crazy because, like, decks that have nothing to do with each other, they're still coming out duplicative. They're not the same subject matter for the decks, like the oracles and stuff. The clarifying cards, and they'll come out with the same. I'm like, that is so crazy because I don't like. Yes, some decks I've had longer than others, but so what? Ain't no way I'm sitting there going, okay, this deck has. I don't even read the guidebooks, you guys. I don't have enough time for that. You know, I will check the guidebooks, and especially with oracles, I will read, for an oracle message as led. But I don't have any of this memorized, and it's so crazy because it's like not the same manufacturers. It's not an AI deck, and they will still have very similar messages, like to the point where it's like, damn, we just said that, so and but it's pretty neat to connect like that. I would love to help the government. There's so many cases of trafficking and this, that, and the third. It's like I would love to be that one that like is disciplined enough to really be like, okay, they're located in, because I had like I literally, somebody was looking for somebody who was missing, and I said, I'm seeing this place that I've never been, and here's a gate, it's open, the gate's open, and there's a dumpster, and this, that, and the third. And long story short, the person was like, it was just like you said, and the gate was open, like. So that was pretty neat, but it was bittersweet, and it's not that the person was in the dumpster, to be clear. Um, the person was actually found. But the scenario of what I tapped into was probably a little bit darker than natural death. So, and I didn't understand that at the time, some aspects of what some of my cards were indicating until after the fact. And so what happened was something spiritual in that area that he was actually in. It's just that he was alive as far as the vessel. Does that make sense? Doesn't to me, but it does. That's craziness. All right, so, but I would love, any way to help. I feel like people shouldn't be gatekeepers of information that's helpful. Because again, going back to like count number one, I feel like there's enough room at the top for all of us. Like, why would like we could just all breathe and eat and um, I dream of an actual utopia experience whilst on Earth. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I'm not saying that I think it's the easiest thing that necessarily could happen either. But I do dream of it often, because if I had my way, everybody would just literally be fine and safe and kind and civil and like okay, like everybody's just okay, good job. Everybody hands themselves, nobody hurting anybody, nobody hurting. That would be my version of utopia. No pain for anyone. Yeah, that would be cool to help on a different level. All right, so that's giving my cue to hop off here. It is not too late, you guys, but it is late enough to start thinking about resting, unwinding, and some of those next steps. Okay, please sleep to the message if you got it to get into about some of those next steps if you're still a little confused on them, because this is serious stuff, and it's big stuff and it's good stuff, right? We could talk about some of the other stuff that it is too if you want, but should you want to, right? In the sense of, does it help or does it hurt? Okay, and I leave you to that. I'm not, the choice is yours. You've got your free will. I would never take away anyone's free will. I could never anyhow, but like it would just never be a thing for me to like, unless that person's free will is to harm others, of course, right? Duh, right? It's like, sir, put the GUN down. Like, we're not doing that. So, but yeah, you guys really have been building stable foundations from, I'm hearing to say a few moon cycles past. There is an upcoming full moon again in this month, and it is considered to be the blue moon. And so I really would ask that you guys take this time from now until then. And right now, I have no idea what the actual date is, but I mean, it's the 20th of the month. Calm down, it's coming up, right? So between this time and whenever that blue moon hits, all right, get your next steps in order, okay? What type of person are you, okay? Who is your higher self? What does your higher self do, eat, how do they dress, right? Where are the places that they go? Where are the places they no longer go? All right, so that you can really kind of put your best foot forward, even in some of those baby steps. You guys were watching me baby step all around, right? And they're leading to many pounds off, right? So for me, that's a really huge goal. And for me, that's a really huge win. And it's not me bragging. It's me, learning to thrive and learning to climb out of survival mode. Okay. And I'm sharing only to inspire. All right. So you guys stay inspired. Okay. You guys inspire me. And I think we deserve to be inspired. It helps, right? We're already utilizing our strength and our discipline. It helps to be inspired. It's supposed to be part of the process. And I thank you for being part of the journey and experience and process for me. Okay. You guys inspire me to no end. All right. And often, I'll see things or hear things like, oh, it makes me think of, honey bun so and so, right? Collective member such and such. Okay. And many of you are creators, artists, and the like. And this is why I always say keep going. I'm excited to see what all you continue to produce and what all you begin to produce, okay, depending on who I'm speaking to, right? Because you're here to do just that, all right, and so much more. Again, there is this reminder of no restrictions, no limitations any longer, right? Get out of that habitual mental monologue, right? Because that's old earth conscious based ish, right? It's too low vibes anymore, you guys. And that's okay. There's no problem in that fact, okay? It's new earth, it's new you. What will you do? Okay? So I leave you with that food for thought. Ooh, ooh, the cell. I'm not sure what that means, but yes, have a wonderful night, you guys, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being amazing, and thank you for not giving up. All right, very much look forward to the next live stream, and well, comment. We're going to talk about that job next time. I love that. All right, I love you guys. Love and light.